creativity in our world is something that everybody wants, but a lot of people just don't understand it. Creativity is kind of this thing that people can see the result, but they don't see the steps going into it. So as a leader, your job is to figure out how to do creativity. And I think it's important that you define creativity. And I define creativity in kind of these two words. It's innovation and it's risk. It takes innovation, it takes the people that are willing to try things new, but it also takes the risk and the willingness to go outside your comfort zone and try something that's completely different. So how do you do this? How do you lead creative people? Well, in leading creative people, they kind of need you to be decisive. They need you to make decisions, not do the work, but make decisions. They need you to be adaptable and try things that are a little bit outside your comfort zone. They need you to be reliable. They need you to be that consistent. The world doesn't need flamboyant leaders. They need consistent and reliable leaders. And then the creative people need somebody to empower them. Like I said, not do the work, but empower them. So when you're leading creative people, it's a great opportunity, but it also takes a lot of work. When you're leading creative people, it's really natural, and your tendency is going to be like, I got to do the work because it all relies and comes back to me. And that couldn't be further from the truth. And it's important to have the right attitude and know that your job is to lead, not do the work. So you've got to know your role. You've got to know that your job is to provide focus, to make sure they're mission driven and customer focused. Your job is to provide the functions. You provide the space, the resources, the time for them. And also, do you fuel that fire? Do you keep them going? Do you reward? Do you recognize? Do you celebrate? I believe that in leading creative people, you've got to start with the right attitude, and that attitude's got to be one of humility, not one of legacy building, but one of creating echoes so that people can just get the work done. As a leader of creative people, it's really important that you provide clarity. It's important that you know the task, number one, but that you communicate the task. I think so many times leaders try to communicate without knowing, or they know and they don't communicate. I think the key is to make sure that you communicate the task and that you know the task. So in doing that, you've just got to know what people expect from you, and they need to know what you expect from them. I think it's really important that you know your team members, not just the team, but the individual team members, because creativity is about the individual taking risk. So if the individual is going to take risks, they're not going to do that if they don't know that they feel safe. And part of clarity is making sure they understand what you expect, you knowing what they expect, and then allowing them just to do the job. Creativity is innovation and risk. So we've talked to the attitude required, the clarity required, but the discipline. You got to show up. You got to do your job. You got to be consistent. The world doesn't need you to be flamboyant. They need you to be consistent. Your people need you to be consistent. They need to know that you're willing to lead them and not do the work. So it's leadership, not doership. So lead them. Allow them to be creative. Allow them to be innovative and risk-taking. Yes, you're still responsible for the end goal, but it's not your job to do the end goal. Lead your team. Lead your creative people.